Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of the Collider Games podcast. My name's Dennis Den, and I'm here with
Josh Weyers.
Still beaming to us from South Africa, still under quarantine, under lockdown. We're both here. But like we mentioned before, of all the industries, the video game industry is actually one of the ones that's still going strong, still booming. Them and Netflix and Amazon and any grocery delivery services, they're all stronger than ever. And man, I have been playing a lot more video games recently than I have in a long time because I have so much more free time on my hand.
I feel that, yeah.
And so, you know, there's been a decent amount of news. You know, we've had some delays because of the lockdown, but things aren't getting back to normal. But we're starting to get a better idea of when things are gonna slowly kind of reopen, and people have put some release dates on things and shown developments. The biggest news this week was the PS5 Unreal 5 demo that showcased. It's
a playable demo as well, which is quite cool.
Yeah. It's not a game. It's not a real game. It was basically kind of a Tomb Raider, Lara Croft kind of ripoff.
Like walking kind of thing. I was gonna say it's about as much of a game as Death Stranding. So depending how you look at it.
But it was a nice demo, and you had the Unreal Engine like developers talking about what's new in it and kind of. You know, from my limited knowledge, working with our VR developers here at Collider, knowing kind of the limitations, like when you develop a game in terms of polygon count, dynamic lighting, and draw calls, and all these things that are like sucking resources away from the game, causing frame rates to go down and whatnot. It sounds like. Not like they've 100% solved it, but they found out through these different methods, like they mentioned, like Lumen, and I forgot the name of all the different technology that they coined these things. But basically, with these dynamic lightings, these like textures that you can have like super high res textures without sacrificing a lot of resources. All these things seem to have alleviated a lot of these problems that developers were having before. What's your take on this demo?
Well, I mean, the first thing I was thinking was, were they hiding any loading screens? Because we know that developers have gotten to the point where like you can seamlessly hide loading screens. So I know there was quite a few people talking about, were they hiding any loading screens? And regarding that situation, I don't think it really matters. I mean, if there was any loading screen that they were hiding in the background, it was done so well that it didn't affect my life. It didn't affect the way it looked, you know. If you got, by the way, for anybody listening to this right now, watching this, if you haven't watched the video, highly recommend watching the video. It's about 5 or 6 minutes long, if I recall. Everything looks beautiful. The character model, not so much, but they're not trying to show off the character model. It's more about their surroundings. You know what I mean? If you looked at like the landscape, dude, the textures looked phenomenal. Some of those like rocks and mountains looked real. Like not like, oh wow, that's real for a video game, but like real. And then the most impressive part for anybody who's either a developer or a gamer, most people won't understand how amazing it is. But when they show you that like high resolution statue that was taken straight out of ZBrush, and you're like, wow, that's like, that looks great. That's high resolution statue. Must take quite a bit of resources to load that thing. And then they drop in like hundreds of that statue. You walk into a room and it's just hundreds of the same statue with the exact same level of quality on each statue. And that's pretty freaking awesome. So that's what makes me most excited about the PS5. And this is not like a PS5 Pro or anything like that. It's just the PS5. So it's promising. It looks very good. Obviously, when you're putting together something like this for people to watch and to try to showcase what the thing is capable of, there obviously in a much more controlled environment. Like we didn't really see much. We saw an open world, but we didn't see them explore that open world. You know what I mean? It was a very linear experience. So I don't know if they're hiding anything. I doubt they're hiding anything. But I'm sure we're gonna see a hell of a lot more leading up towards December for sure. It looked good though, man. That thing went viral. Like the day that was posted, it was just it was shared on all forms of social media. Like it's I would say it's just I'd say it's been just as popular of a topic as the other topic that we'll talk about later, which is Tony Hawk's. It's been like that's all over, man. It's all over Twitter, Facebook. So it looks good, and the people who are the most surprised by it are, by the looks of things, developers. Because here I'll actually read a quote from who is this? Epic Games actually spoke about it, and they said, I think first of all, Sony has a massive increase in graphics performance compared to previous generations. But I guess we get that every generation, which they joke. You know what I mean? But it's, that's the one thing that the Epic founder Tim Sweeney. A lot of people are finding this that's good news to see developers of game companies and CEOs of game companies look at this and go, they're excited to work with it. That's always good news,
Yeah, definitely. And the impressive thing about the lighting is it's dynamic. So when you develop a game, like if you want something to look good but you don't have the resources, you'll bake in lighting so it's not dynamic. You have it look good, and then but you can't affect it in real time. And apparently in this demo they're showing off no, this lighting is not baked in. It's like
real. It's completely I wonder because obviously there's there's no ray tracing involved that I saw, and I'm guessing lumen is the thing that they were talking about regarding lighting, but the lighting looks amazing. Doesn't look as good as your certain ray traced stuff, but at the same time not everyone can handle ray tracing. Well, I guess the PS5 and the next generation consoles are supposed to handle ray tracing,
yes,
but I'm guessing lumen looks like it's probably less resource heavy. So either way, the lighting looked beautiful, man. Everything besides the character model looked amazing in my eyes.
And you mentioned before about the
end of the video when they were flying through, that looked really sick.
Yeah. You may also mention with the environments being they are of cinematic quality. This also has implications for the film industry, because if people who don't know, some TV shows and movies are starting to use Unreal in some of their environments, in terms of if you watch The Mandalorian, a lot of that was filmed on green screens, and they used this Unreal technology to put in the background. So now you're talking about Unreal 5 and this higher level of quality.
I think the film industry is going to get more. I think the film industry is going to get more use out of it than the video game industry, because obviously, with a video game, when you're building something, you're building usually an entire world, a big open world thing. Whereas if you're going to be doing it for movies or TVs, you're just doing that one scene. You're just usually you're just going to be doing that one room or the one interior, and it's therefore you can make something look way more amazing. And going back to what I said, what you and I said about the way things look, how it looks like movie graphics. Now, the reason why movie CGI has always been so good is because they don't have to render in an entire world or multiple assets. They're usually just rendering in what they want to show you. That's in frame. You know what I mean?
And everything's baked in. They don't need dynamic. You're not real time.
You don't need dynamic. Everything's controlled. So that's why CGI in movies have always been able to look better than video games for that reason. But now we're getting to the point where it's almost exactly, it's pretty much exactly the same, which is crazy. Some games coming out nowadays look better than some movies. It blows my mind.
Yeah. So this demo was very impressive. People went nuts over it. The one thing I will say is funny, and make fun of kind of both PlayStation and Xbox fanboys, is on the one hand you have the Xbox fanboys getting butthurt over a lot of the press and buzz coming off of the PS5, because this has been this demo's attached to that, being kind of jealous of that. And then you have the Sony fanboys like bragging about this demo and like, oh yeah, look at this PS5. Like I've said before, I tell you, the Xbox Series X and the PS5, by the time you get down to it, the graphics are going to be very similar. You know what I mean? Like, there'll be an Unreal Engine 5. If people know, the Unreal Engine is used for all games. They use it for Xbox, they use it for Sony, they use it for PC game. You know what I mean? They use it for VR. They use it for everything. It's not the only engine. I mean, you have Unity, you have the Source engine, which we'll talk about later with Half-Life Alyx. So it's not like this is like exclusive to PS5. Like, I'm pretty sure that whatever the Xbox Series X graphics are going to be comparable. So it's like two things. One, Xbox fans don't need to get jealous and butthurt over this, and then the PS5 or Sony fans don't need to be like, oh man, look what Sony can do and Xbox can't do this. It's like, just wait, it's going to be the same thing.
They're both pretty much going to be the same. It's going to come down to exclusives like it always does.
Yeah.
I see now that the solid state drive that Sony's going to be using goes at 5 gigabytes a second, or they're aiming to get 5 gigabytes a second. That's crazy, man. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the days when you used to copy files over on your computer and it would say like 968 days or 5 minutes? You don't know.
Yeah. You don't know.
You don't know. And nowadays it's, oh man, that's crazy. 5 gigabytes a second. That's insane. That's genuinely insane. Like I genuinely cannot wait for the future of gaming. And I mean, with those kinds of stats, surely we're going to see a lot more VR on consoles next year, you know? Mm-hmm. I know Sony. Yeah, I know Sony's obviously got their own PSVR, which I actually quite liked the PSVR. It's very limited in what it does, but at its price point, I think it's quite good for what it gives you. It's also the most comfortable headset, in my opinion. But I can't wait to see what the PSVR is going to be like on the PS5, you know? And I wonder what Xbox is going to do in the future, because surely Xbox is also they're not going to use the HoloLens is now being used for things like medical situations, you know?
Yeah, it's an AR thing, augmented reality. It's not for gaming. That's for business use, whether medical or commercial, all that stuff. AR.
I don't think it's ever going to be for gaming, because I mean, I remember they were doing Minecraft. Minecraft Earth was supposed to be for the HoloLens, and then they realized, screw that, we'll just put it on people's cell phones because everyone's got a cell phone. Also makes more sense to me. Who's going to spend, like $3,000 on a headset to play Minecraft?
No. But I mean, Xbox is, which strangely, because of the PC ties with Microsoft and Xbox, they have been pretty like adamant of like, no, we're not doing VR. We're not focused on VR, which I think is a shame, because we'll talk more about that later. And the PSVR, I like it in terms of performance. I think it's pretty good. What I don't like is the setup and the controls for it. Like setting up with the webcam, that you need that extra breakout box. The controllers are very limited, you know. But in terms of the actual games themselves, they're good. The performance is good. I don't really get super motion sickness when using the PSVR, but it does have its more other limitations, which is kind of harder to fix, because with the PS5, obviously with performance, you can make it better, right? The graphics will be better, frame rate will be better, all that stuff. But with the actual unit itself, and that, like, I don't know how they're going to fix that portion of it. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think that was a very impressive demo. I think a lot of people are excited. I know developers are excited to get their hands on Unreal 5. And then I'm sure the movie industry and TV industry as well.
Oh yeah. I will say that I can't find the article now, but I saw that there are a couple developers who are leaning towards the next Xbox instead of the next PlayStation, because they said it's going to be a much easier transition going from the next gen Xbox to PC. You know, like it saves I was reading the one. Oh, man, I wish I had the article on hand now. But yeah, this one developer in particular was saying that it just makes more sense and it saves a lot of time and money to do that, to focus just on the Xbox and PC part rather than PlayStation.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was very. It was. Yeah, it was. What
I
was
mean,
quite
for me,
interesting.
I'm of the opinion that every game should be on every system, but
I
we don't live in that
agree.
world.
Yeah.
This is
And it should be crossplay, you know, and it
yeah,
should just be for
yes,
preference.
yes. There should be
Like,
game, but like I said, eventually it's going to be all streaming services, and then they'll
mm,
do exclusive for streaming services, and man, it's going to be a mess. Anyways, let's move on to
yeah.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. They announced the remake for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It's coming out actually fairly not that far away, September 4th, 2020. I mean, this is a game that I'll be honest with you. I played it, I enjoyed it, but I never got into it like other people did. Like
Oh,
because it came out
man.
when I was in college, and I had friends that would just like sit there all day playing it because there was no end to this game, right? Because you're just trying to
Yep.
up your trick scores
Tr-
and
Trying to get the
whatnot.
best high score, man.
So they just sit and play it all day. There was no ending, and I played it, and I wasn't very good at it. It was fun. I know the draw of it. I just wasn't good enough to keep going with it. But yeah, they're returning for it. They're bringing about the soundtrack, which is important because usually
As much as they can,
yes, yes.
because digital licensing rights is very difficult to work with.
Well, yeah, music licensing in general is a pain in the ass because usually, because
Yeah.
I've dealt with it before with the Twin Peaks VR, where when you license it, you get X amount of years and X amount of units you can sell with it, and X amount of distribution platforms, and then that usually runs out because usually you don't pay for like a forever license, right? You
Oh, yeah,
pay.
exactly. Yeah. The only reason I know this is because I before Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 was originally made. They were like remasters or like reskins, if you will, of the Kingdom Hearts games, and they released that for the PS3. But then they never released it for the PS4, and I never knew. I mean, anybody who's watching this knows that it is out on the PS4 now. But literally years after they released it on the PS3, and I was looking into it, and it was all because of the music.
Yep.
It took them years to get that onto the PS4 because of the music, because of licensing rights, and Utada Hikaru, amazing musician. But because of that, that's why it took them so long. And then that, I guess they just had to wait a couple years until they were able to get the licensing rights for it. But yeah, that stuff's so tricky, man. I mean, digital licensing rights, whether it's music or movies, and then you got to like, because it's also like completely different. Like it's not just like for the video game industry as a whole. It's completely different for Americas,
Yep.
Europe, Africa. Like it's
Yep.
each continent has its own like different rules
Yeah.
regarding digital licensing rights. So it's so tricky to maneuver around. But
And you
they
got to
did
pay
a.
more
I'm
for it too. You got to pay more
exactly, yeah.
for different places. So you can have a game that has certain music in, let's say, North America or Europe, but you don't have it, let's say, in Australia or something like that.
Yeah, it's man, but I will say they did a good job getting most of the songs back. Like, and then like I think it gives them they're bringing obviously trying to bring it back. Blah. They're trying to bring back as much of the music as possible because that's a big nostalgia factor
Yeah.
to it. And with the songs that they can't bring back, I think that gives them a little bit of creative freedom to throw in a couple of like newer, like showcase some like newer punk songs. You know what I mean? Because punk's not exactly around anymore. You know, no one come to my house and kill me for saying that. I love punk, but I haven't seen it anywhere, you know, except from some dingy dive bar in Hollywood at like 2 a.m. Um, but
Not quite as big
no,
as it
I'm
was when.
back in the day, yeah, like the 80s and 90s. It was huge. Dude, this blew up all over the internet. Like people are mad excited for this.
Yeah.
And considering the last Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which was disgusting, it was just like a disgusting excuse of a game. Maybe they fixed it by now, but I remember playing that game when it first came out, and it was just a wreck. Like it's like they just shat on the entire legacy of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. It was disgusting. It was a money grab. It was horrible. The graphics were bad. Everything was just bad. So I really hope that they can redeem themselves with this. It's coming out soon, which is exciting. They're calling it a remaster, but is it a remaster? Or is it a remake? You know what I mean? Because it looks like it's more of a remake than a remaster because it looks from the ground
Yeah.
up. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like a reskin. Yeah, which I prefer that. But that's just getting nitpicky on the names.
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah.
I'm super excited for it. They've got someone put it on my wall, but there's I think like I don't know what edition of the game it is, but if you get like the top edition of the game, it actually comes with a birdhouse skateboarding deck, which is awesome. That's Tony Hawk's company, Birdhouse.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I think it was the Legendary Edition or whatever. Some out there edition. So that looks really cool. People are excited. I'm excited. I will say this though, as much as I've always wanted them to do a remake of 1 and 2, I kind of hope that they do 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I mean, that's me just being greedy. They don't have to do Underground 1 and 2, but I would love a remake of American Wasteland because that's like my favorite. They kind of go all over like Southern California. But I wonder, it's also smart for them to do it this year, for them to release it this year, because even though these are rumors, I think they're working on a Skate remake. They're either working on a Skate 4 or they're thinking of remaking Skate 3 or remastering it because the developers said that they'd love to make another Skate if they can get financing and people involved, but they said that making a remake of Skate 3 would be so easy. And I think a remake of Skate 3 would do better than, maybe not buying wise. People are going to buy Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, the remake. They're going to spend way more money on that because it's like, it's got a much bigger fan base
and
nostalgia as well.
Yeah.
But Skate, if they had to remake Skate 3, I think it would be a better game. Like, and that's just because of gameplay. It's like you're not clicking a button to do a kickflip. You're like controlling your thumb, like actually moving the stick. It's a bit more fun. Dude, yeah, there's hype. I can't believe it's coming out this year. You know, that's really surprising. Do you think they're going to stick to their release date?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, remember, it is a remake, so they are not coming up with new. I mean, obviously, they're going to try and optimize and make things, one, not just graphics wise, but probably gameplay wise, as smooth as possible. But they're not going to deviate so far from their original because, right? Everyone loved playing the original.
Yeah,
so
I wonder how close. I wonder how close they're going to get it. Like, are they going to get all the secret levels, all the bonus characters? Because,
I'm sure.
Here's the problem.
Licensing.
I was going to say, as far as licensing, here, like, I'm pretty sure they can get Kelly Slater, the surfer, in there, because he's not going to care. But then I think of Spider-Man. How are they going to get Spider-Man back in the game? You know, that's going to be a tricky one, because Spider-Man was like a hidden character in Pro Skater 2. So I'm thinking, like, how are they going to go around getting Spider-Man back in the game? Because he even had this cool move where you're like, he actually throws his skateboard away and then he web slings it back into his hands. Yeah. So
maybe it's going to be a Sony exclusive, like only on the PlayStation.
Yeah, maybe
you can have Spider-Man, but you can't have him on the other ones. So I could see
one
that.
thing's for certain. It looks good. It looks beautiful. It looks really nice. I'm excited for that. And yeah, man, everyone's stoked about it. There is something in the back of my heart just sitting there, just like a little child in the back of my heart, just praying, just please don't fuck this up. Like don't Warcraft 3 reforged this. Don't Blizzard this, you know? Like I'm just please
we'll
don't
see.
Like please don't mess up what should be an easy remake. Please. Oh my God. But yeah, money in the bag. Hopefully they make a lot of money from this and actually go on to make more skating video games, because there's no skateboarding video games. Session was horrible. Yeah, every skating game I've played since Skate 3 has just been trash.
Well, maybe that's why they're doing it. They're like, all right, well, we don't have to create a brand new one. Let's bring back what everyone loved and just modernize it. I mean, this, on a kind of similar but also off topic, like this just gives me hope. Like Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 remastered.
Oh my God,
remake,
yes.
Remaster, like the rumors were saying. Like I'm down for that.
All put into one game.
Yes,
it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
And with a modernized,
it's gonna happen.
They did it with the Final Fantasy VII, right? They modernized the battle system. That's the one. I think Knights of the Old Republic, the first one, is one of the best games ever made. But the combat system is outdated.
The same. Yeah, and
it's outdated. So yeah, update the combat, make it more modern, make it real time, and then I know they want to adjust some story points to match
more
some of the
try to make it more canon or something.
Well, yeah, more because this was pre-Disney, pre-Disney buying Star Wars, so a lot of stuff they still want to use, but like the Sith planet It's called Korriban in the game, but they call it Moribond in now the Disney Star Wars canon. So little changes like that. They'll probably change around some lore and history, but just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next topic. This one I'm excited about. Ghost of Tsushima, which when I was listening to that video, he said Ghost of what do you say? Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Sushashi.
Yeah, something like that. This is a game that you obviously, we've been hearing a lot about before, and the graphics look great. I didn't get even though I was looking forward to it, when they had first announced it and showed stuff from it, I think last year, I didn't get super excited until this because two things. One, I have a PS4 now, so I can get this if I want to, which I didn't have before. Two, I originally had thought this game was going to be, and there's nothing wrong with this because I love these games. Like, I thought it was going to be more like a Naughty Dog style, where it was going to be like Uncharted or Last of Us, where it's kind of a linear storyline, and you follow this path. And not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that I don't know. It didn't excite me as much. But now learning that it's an open world game, more like Red Dead Redemption or Assassin's Creed, that's got me excited. Seeing him hop on the horse and go around to different places, kind of choosing the different places to go and different missions and all that kind of stuff. Now I'm much more excited. What about you?
Well, yeah, I had a similar reaction to you when I first heard about Ghost of Tsushima. I wasn't expecting this when I saw there's 18 minutes of gameplay out there. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It looks phenomenal. I think it's in 4K, 60 frames per second on the IGN website. Looks good. Yeah, I thought it was going to be more of like a linear experience in an open world game. I thought it was going to be more story driven, kind of like Senua's Sacrifice. Like I thought it was going to be very stealthy and story driven, but like more of a focus on story than combat and gameplay. And having watched this trailer, I'm super excited to see that it pretty much looks like an open world action RPG. Yeah. Which there's a lot of things that I'm excited for. There's a lot of things that I'm actually not so excited for. First of all, the game looks beautiful. Like it looks so beautiful. There's even like an option where you can put a black and white filter on so that it feels more like an old school samurai movie. If you like samurai films, like Seven Samurai. I forgot about the other one.
It's the other one. There's plenty, but yeah, like
there's plenty. But there's another
like
famous
it has
one
a Kurosawa feel to it.
There's literally like the two most well-known Kurosawa movies, The Seven Samurai and it starts with an R.
That one's Rashomon.
Yeah. Yes, Rashomon. Thank you. Wow. I love that movie. I couldn't remember the name. So the game's cinematic. It looks beautiful. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that they have this option where it's like if you want to know where to go, you kind of have this gust of wind flow in the direction that you need to walk into. I thought that was a really cool way of like, rather than having, like some giant thing show up out of nowhere, like a trail telling you where to go, you're actually seeing like the wind and the leaves flowing in a direction telling you where to go. That seems sick to me. Like watching each individual blade of like grass flow. It seems like the environment does an amazing job of interacting with the weather, but at the same time, I don't see the player interacting very well with the weather. I see his cape interacting very well with the weather, but it's kind of weird for me where there's these moments of this big gust of wind and the trees are blowing, the grass is blowing, but his hair is standing still, and his cape's blowing, but his hair is standing. So it's like, but those are like small nitpicky things that I noticed, because if you're going to do a game like this, unfortunately, you have to compare it to other like bigger action RPGs that are similar. I think of The Witcher 3, where Geralt of Rivia, the longer you play, the bigger his beard. You're going to need to go get haircuts in the game. You need to actually go and keep your dude fresh. You don't get a haircut for long enough, you got a beard, you got long hair, you're everything's unkept, and there's physics, the way the hair flows and everything. The game reminds me a lot of Assassin's Creed, almost too much, I would say. Like that, like it's not something, I wouldn't say it's something bad. It's just I noticed that it's a lot of similar gameplay mechanics, like the stealth,
a lot of stealth,
a lot of assassinations. Even the gameplay kind of reminds me a bit of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, except it's a lot more pinpoint, which I like the fact that, dude, it's so beautiful how it's like you're this like samurai and you're calm, you're zen, you're ready, and you're not like going in there guns blazing, slashing people. You're just waiting for people to hit you, and then just one slice, one satisfying slice, they're dead. You know what I mean? It's like the combat looks a lot more like pinpoint, like accuracy, and I like that's what I like about it, because like the samurai is not about like these big flashy movements. It's about small necessary movements, and you actually get to see that in the combat. So that looks sick, which I'm excited about. Customization looks amazing. I like the fact that you can do some good customization. You can even customize your play style and evolve it as you go on. Um, sorry, this is something that completely popped out for me, is because now that I heard the main character's voice, I was like, I know that voice. That's one of literally my top 3 favorite Japanese voice actors of all time. Um, I just know him as Nakai-san, but yeah, Kazuya Nakai, who does the voice of Zoro on One Piece, Gintoki on Gintama. He's like honestly one of the best Japanese voice actors that I can think of. So I'm so excited that he's the main character and we get to experience this through his voice. The game is you can play it in Japanese with subtitles, which is what they're suggesting you do. Yeah, that's what they said, and that's how I would play it anyways. Like whenever I'm playing any kind of a JRPG, I have to play it in Japanese with English subtitles, because that's the way it was intended to make. And usually, and as a voice actor, I feel bad saying this, but usually the dubs are never good, because that's when they like skimp out on the budget. Usually by the time they're doing the English dub, they've already spent most of their budget. So they go to like a third-party studio and hire, I don't know. That's why anime in English is usually not that good, is because they don't have much of a budget for the voice actors. They're paying them like $125, maybe $200 for their day, no royalties, no residuals. But yeah, my favorite voice actor. I'm loving that. The one thing that I've noticed is that, so the gameplay mechanics, the combat is awesome. I like all the mechanics. Nothing's new about it, though. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, they're all mechanics and things that we've seen in other games. But it's kind of a situation where it's like what we saw with the Star Wars game, the Last Jedi. What we saw with that, where it's like it's a bunch of things that we've seen before in other games, but it was put together so well. Yeah, Fallen Order. Sorry, my bad. Fallen Order. It's been a while. Like, that game had so many elements from other games, like Souls elements and things like that, but it was put together so well with elements that we're used to, that it was a good experience. And I think this is a case of that, where it's like, yes, we've seen all these gameplay elements in other games before, but it's put together in a nice way with an amazing story, and it's so cinematic. That's what it has a beautiful photo mode. But then again, it's like, in 2020, any game with a photo mode is probably going to look good, because it's got a photo mode. That looks sick. Yeah, I'm way more excited now after having seen this 18-minute trailer than I was ever before,
Yeah, for me, it's because I feel like this open world style suits it better than what I originally thought. I thought it was going to be very, very linear, and like, okay, it's probably going to be a really good story, but it's just, they're going to kind of force you to go here, go there, or whatever. It's like, no. Like, you can go where you want, and you can do different things, and they have all these different modes, and I feel the combat, I think, is the one thing, though. It's where it looks very cool. I just want to see how it feels, because yes, a lot of them are like one motion moves, but I'm assuming you're going to fight enemies that are not like, I'm sure they're like all the like, basically the cannon fodder normally is like one slice and they're dead. But then I'm thinking about like, who are these like mid-level bosses or main bosses, and how does that combat dynamic work?
It seems like it's a very like patient thing, like you gotta look. It looks like the type of combat system where you gotta have patience. You can't just. I hope that there are some other abilities you can get later on, where you can kind of be like guns blazing, or I guess swords blazing in this case. But it seems like even like a lot of Souls inspired games, where it's like you have to have patience and you have to know when to dodge and know when to attack. I mean, that's easier said than done, but it really looks like it's all about timing, having patience, and like those are the main two things. And samurai's got to have patience, man. Yeah, No, that's a good. You raise a good point there. I'm excited to see that because obviously there's also a lot of stealth mechanics where I'm sure you can
Yeah,
probably complete things without having to fight at all. You can just
I am
assassinate.
not. I am not about that stuff. Stealth.
Yeah, I
That
know you've
stealth
never
life
been a
is not
stealth
for
guy.
me,
Yeah.
man.
Well, you said it earlier on, dude. The horse looked amazing, but
Yeah.
not only did the horse look amazing, but it moved like real. Like whenever I see a horse, the most realistic horse movement that I've seen is probably in Red Dead Redemption. But this is like the way this horse moves isn't. I'd say it's realistic, but it's not like realistic. It's like even like it's just cinematic. Like it's like over the top. Like, but I love it. Like I love how over the top the horse moves. It's so like it's like galloping and it's like the way it moves, the way the muscles fold into each other. It looks so sick. There are parts of this game that makes me think like it looks beautiful, but like I can't say it looks like real life because it's more beautiful than real life. You know, like there's lighting that looks almost
Oh,
angelic, like it's gorgeous, and it
yeah,
kind of
and the
makes me think of
colors.
like, we're good. Oh, it kind of makes me think there's probably one kid out there in the world somewhere who's looked at the Grand Canyon and gone, meh, would have been nicer with ray tracing. Like we're getting to that point, and that's what I kind of mean with the horse, where the horse looks like it looks amazing. It looks like it looks like a show horse. It looks like $1 million horse.
Yeah.
Like,
You know,
I love it though.
the two games of this generation before seeing this game and probably Last of Us Part 2 that I refer to as the best graphics on this generation are Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Red Dead Redemption 2. This probably takes it up another level. I think we're hitting that max, level
Mm.
of graphics for this generation. It's funny because I got Witcher 3. I was late to the train and I still haven't. I've only played a
Oh,
few hours
dude,
of
what a
Witcher
good
3.
game.
But in
Oh,
terms of graphics though, it's like it doesn't even look like this generation.
yeah. Well, it's 5 years old now, isn't
Yeah.
it?
But if you take that and compare it to like let's say across Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Red Dead 2 or Ghost of
True, true.
like wow, this doesn't exactly look like this generation. So, and then even look at the same developers. I'm not knocking the CD Projekt Red. They're
Oh
making
yeah, no.
Cyberpunk 2077. That game looks amazing. It's just that's how it goes. Every generation of console, like it just takes longer to start figuring out all
At
those
this point in
tricks.
time, it's like a yearly thing at this point in time where every single year, every new AAA game usually like puts the previous one. I wouldn't say to shame, but like it's noticeable differences, you know.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I'm reading through these points of like for the most part we touched on most of this. A couple things to point out is that if you don't know so you have this guiding wind like that I spoke about, this gust of wind that shows you where to go, but that's when you already know where to go, where you have like a location to choose to go to, and then it shows you the wind. So if you're what about places where you don't know where it is? So they say you got to keep your eye out,
Mhm.
Usually you'll see like some smoke in the background, or maybe an animal will lead you there. Maybe
Yeah, the
you'll talk to an
fox, little
NPC.
fox
The
will.
fox, yeah. Well, the fox will guide you to shrines, which I love. So they've got these little shrine foxes taking you to all the shrines, and you can go and honor the shrine. You go honor the shrine, and then oh yeah, doing so earns Jin upgrades. So that's cool. So going to the shrines and honoring the shrines, you get upgrades. Um, Fast travel's involved, thank goodness. Yeah. Oh, this is the thing that the standoff
Mhm.
when you're actually fighting someone, and it does this really cool like atmospheric thing where it's like one person's on the one side of the screen, the other person's on the other side of the screen. You have like the Japanese letters in the middle,
Mhm.
and it's so cinematic. I love that.
Yeah, I think getting this game just for the cinematic mode might be worth it, right? Like,
Yeah.
just
Like
looks
I would
amazing.
just be so happy to just ride around forever. Or like there was the one clip where I saw he was like blowing a flute on a mountaintop. I'll do that for hours. I'll sit there on that mountaintop and I'll blow my flute and it'll be freaking fantastic, man. Like I'll probably put on some of my favorite Japanese soundtracks in the background, and it's gonna be good. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, but, I mean, going back to the whole Assassin's Creed thing, even like the use of using firecrackers as a distraction.
Mhm.
I think of like the whistling or rock throwing in other games. They're all like
Yeah.
mechanics that we've seen. We've seen these mechanics before, so it's nothing new there. But it looks like this game's definitely gonna be more focused on the story and the experience and the exploration, which I like.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited because it comes out on July 17th, which is not that far away.
Yeah,
We
it's
have we
soon,
have
man.
Yeah, because we have Last of Us Part 2 coming out in June now, and then you have this coming out in July. So I've got a lot of gaming to do before then, so I can get ready for that. I went to go pick up my PS4 from the office finally, so now I can finish off
nice.
Last of Us. But that kind of leads into my next topic that I've been waiting to talk about is Life Alyx. So
hold up. Before we get into that real quick,
okay.
One of the things I think is worth mentioning super quick, because we didn't see it in the video, is that he has a grappling hook. Jin, the main character of Ghost of Tsushima, he has a grappling hook that he can use to swing across gaps or climb ledges. I spoke about the customization.
Yeah, you can collect flowers to
dye your clothing,
which
clothing,
is nice, which is cool. And they said the outfits and the costumes are like actually affect the gameplay in terms of like, okay, this outfit helps you in this area, this outfit helps you in this area and whatnot.
I'm excited to see this black and white full grain mode. You know, that's I'm excited about. All right, but yeah, as you were saying, let's go to Life Alyx.
So Life Alyx came out a couple months ago. Unfortunately, we've been talking about this game since it was announced. I can't say a long time because they kind of snuck up with wasn't it like the end of last year? They're like, hey, by the way,
it's been less than a year. I know that.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was towards the end of 2019, and I kept saying they're not going to make the deadline. It's too soon.
For like 2 podcasts in a row, you said that. I remember.
Yeah. I was wrong. They made the deadline. Apparently, they probably just been working on this in secret, like for a long, long time, and so the game was probably just done, and they just need to polish it. My God, this game! I know I'm late to the train because I didn't remember. I bought a computer, or not computer. I have my old computer, but I had to upgrade my video card. I ended up getting an RTX 2060, which is like the budget RTX. It's about 300.
That's the one I'm getting. I'm
it's
getting
like $300.
Yeah,
$300. It's not the most powerful.
I'm getting the same graphics card
because even a 1080 is more powerful than the 2060. It doesn't have some of the newer like ray tracing stuff in it, but I'm talking about the 1080. But the 1080 is still more powerful.
Yeah. I think it can though.
What 20?
The RTX graphics card, the one that you have, because I'm getting the same one. I think it can handle ray tracing.
No, I'm saying the 1080 can't handle ray tracing.
Oh yeah, the 1080.
But it can handle higher fidelity when it comes to the game. So I'm running it on my RTX 2060, and I still can only do low fidelity on it. However, the game looks amazing. So I got the RTX 2060, which was about $300. I found out, oh, by the way, my power supply couldn't handle the RTX 2060 because it's an older power supply. So I had to upgrade my power supply. That was like another $100, right? So that's like whatever. And then I borrowed the studio's Oculus Rift S, but I actually ordered my own Quest, which is actually going to be coming in I'd say a week or so, and I can use the Oculus Link with it. But all told, let's say, what is that, like 400, 300? I've invested like whatever. Obviously, this is not purely
like
just for this
$400, $500.
I know more than that. It's like $700-800 or whatever.
Damn.
Let me tell you, it was worth it. I've not finished this game yet. I'm about 2/3 the way through. I think I'm on level 7 out of 11. It is what we expected it to be, which was a game changer for VR. Obviously I developed or helped produce the Twin Peaks VR experience, and we here at Collider, we're very big on VR. Mark, our boss, the CEO of Collider, he is big into VR, plays a lot of VR. Oculus Quest, I think, is a game changer as well. We went to Oculus Connect, so we're all into VR. This is next level. I'm telling you.
The graphics is what blows my mind, genuinely.
The graphic,
it was well received as well. Like, I mean, a lot of huge YouTubers were playing it and praising it heavily. And usually, the only time big YouTubers praise something heavily is when they're getting paid to praise it heavily. And this was not a case. This was just a case of genuine people saying this is an amazing experience.
it's amazing.
It's what you would expect. It's what you would expect from VR. You know, before like. Or like when VR first came out, I think this is what people were expecting, and then they tried out VR and they were like, "Oh, this is whatever."
Yeah, it's funny because when you talk about the graphics, so I've been playing a lot of Fallout 76 Wastelanders, and I'm having fun with that. But it's funny because playing that on the Xbox One, and then playing Half-Life Alyx on VR. If people don't know, VR games are more resource intensive because you got to, shoot out the graphics to both eyes, so you're kind of like almost like having your resources. It looks better than than Fallout 76 by a long shot. Like, it looks so much better as a VR game.
It's like in a different world for you, man. Yeah.
But in terms of the gameplay and everything that it does like AAA level. It is truly one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had. I'm not done yet, so I can't say where I put it on my list. Right now, I would say it's probably going to be in my top games of all time. I don't know where it's going to fall on that list until I finish it. But yeah, it's like, it's so weird. It's like you think, oh, it's just Half-Life in VR, which it is, but they've taken everything about Half-Life and fit it into this VR. Even the mini games, they have mini games on how to like open doors or open certain objects and whatnot. And those games are super fun, these mini games, just because they're in 3D. And so you're using the 3D space, the VR space, to navigate and actually accomplish these tasks. And like simple things like, look, me and Mark are going to do a full spoiler review once we finish it, and probably sometime next week. But just some little things like grenade throwing. I hate grenade throwing in any game I play. Like, whatever. Like, I just
Half
don't
the
like.
time, I don't use them for some reason.
I don't use them.
When I'm playing competitively, my team gets so upset. They're like, "Why don't you use the grenade?" And for the most part, I don't even think about it. And it's like, and then half the time I do actually think about using it. I blow myself up. So it's like, no, I'm just gonna leave the grenades.
I suck. It just takes too long. By the time I throw it, I miss, and then I get shot at, and it's just it's not good for me. But throwing grenades in Half-Life Alyx is like it's like a revelation, because it's like really throwing an object. It's not pausing and arcing some sort of thing and kind of guessing where you're throwing it. It's all based on physics. So when you throw it, and like when you miss or when you get it, there's a satisfaction to it, because you're like, no, I did that. I threw it. Like I judged the velocity, the angle, and everything. It feels real. And that can be said for a lot of the shooting mechanics. Like, you don't know shooting until you've shot, done the gameplay in Half-Life Alyx, because in a regular game, right, an FPS, your reticule is in the center. And like, when you do like you zoom in or scope in, all it does is just kind of, right, you just zoom in closer. That's what scoping in is. With Half-Life Alyx, the gun has when you use the scope, you actually have to look down the barrel of the scope like a real gun and line up the sights. And it's like there's a satisfaction to it that cannot be. I mean, you have to experience to understand.
Have you tried out Boneworks yet? By the way,
I did. To be honest, I haven't played enough of it to make a full judgment, but it just. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'll change my mind if I play it some more. But the feeling I got from it wasn't the same.
Well, I mean, they're also a much smaller studio.
Yes.
Look. I mean, they're in like the arts district in LA somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm not
I'm not knocking them. I'm sure they did a fantastic job.
I heard they
But we're
did a good
talking.
job with the climbing. Like it actually feels
Yeah.
like when you're climbing things and you can like use your one hand to hang from something, shoot
Um,
something else, and because I know that they were focusing more. They weren't focusing on graphics at all. They were
no,
focusing more on like
physics.
the way things interact with each other in physics, which is quite cool. But man, it's just all the footage I've seen of Half-Life Alyx is so satisfying.
Yeah,
Um,
but what I'm saying is,
Unfortunately, I'm probably only ever going to be able to play it like in a year from now when I'm back in LA, and I'll probably play it at the office.
you have to play it. It's honestly, is a game that everyone should play because like you just won't understand it until you finally play. Like even as hyped as I was for it, you just don't get a sense of
I mean,
what
it's
it's
the
like.
next thing, isn't it? It's like a big jump. Like the only thing that
Oh
I
yeah,
can think of is like PlayStation 2. Like the difference between PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 and any Nintendo, any other console that was out that time, the PS2 came in and it like blew people's minds away. You know what I mean? Like it was such a huge jump in technology as well in what you were getting. I'd imagine it must be a similar feeling to that, where it's like you're playing this game and it's just so drastically different from anything else you've experienced. Obviously, in a good way, going in the right direction. It's like
all right.
it must be exciting knowing that that is the next thing. Like not just for Half-Life and Valve, but like for video games in general, for VR in general. It's
Yeah.
like in a year or two from now, I assume we're gonna have a lot of games that are gonna either try to recreate that or do better, you know?
Well, that's another. This is actual news, recent news, anyways. So they've actually they're releasing the tools for Half-Life Alyx, so that
Oh
people can
wow.
work on the mods. So they released
Oh my
Source Filmmaker
god.
and Hammer, and the latest Source 2 level editor. So now through Steam Workshop, people are going to be able to make their own mods for this game. Now, I don't think the engine is for license for making your own full games, and I don't know what the situation for mods are in terms of any type of commercial mods that you can make, but at least for community purposes and for create. I mean, remember Counter-Strike, Team Fortress,
I was about to
those
say
those are
they've always
all
allowed for
they're all
modding, yeah.
mods. When we talked about you know, whatchamacallit, League of Legends, and you know what I mean? Like these are
Oh,
all mods.
Dota, yeah.
Yeah, Dota. These are mods. So now they've released the first ones from here. Yeah, it's gonna be a whole. It's gonna be a
I
whole.
mean, isn't that exciting though? Like, isn't that
Oh,
genuinely exciting
oh
thinking
yeah.
like what is gonna be the next like because obviously Half-Life when I remember Half-Life 2. I played Half-Life 2. Amazing game when it came out. And then out of freaking nowhere, boom, Counter-Strike 1.6.
Mm.
It just appeared one day. And it's I mean now it's its own thing. Like it's one of the highest played esports games in the world. I wonder what's going to be the equivalent of that for Half-Life Alyx. You know what I mean? Like, what's going to be the Counter-Strike 1.6 to Half-Life 2? You know, what's going to be that for the
Yeah,
Half-Life
I mean,
Alyx? I can't wait. I
dude,
can't
they
wait to
could
see.
make. That's the thing
They
about.
could make a good battle royale in VR.
Well, no, but think about this. Like playing this game to me opened up the possibilities of what you can do. Now you can make a Counter Strike in VR. It's just different. It will here. It's not about twitch fingers and like you know what I mean. Like it's
Like you
it's
said,
about actual
about
physical
actual
aim.
aiming and you
Yes,
know.
yeah, exactly. It's not about. That's the thing about Half-Life Alyx. It's the most intense game combat that I've ever played because of the way that it's implemented. You know, with the guns, you have to eject the magazines, like actually eject the magazines for real. You know, cock the gun, like all these type of things. Like when you reload, it's an actual very tension-filled thing. Um, Imagine doing that in Counter Strike. You know, like you're firing and like the way
Oh
the,
my
the
god,
bullets the
yeah.
way the bullets are, it's like it's realistic. If you leave one in if you eject for a clip, you know, in like a lot of games, right? If you have like 12 in the clip, but you used up 6 and you reload, they just add 6 from
Yeah,
your
you'd have to
stockpile.
actually reload the entire cartridge and
Yes, and you lose those. If you don't shoot out the 6, you lose it. It doesn't matter. It's not. It's realistic. You're not doing like, oh, if you don't fire off every single bullet in the round in the clip and you eject it, it's lost. That's it. So But anyways, yeah, there's so many possibilities playing it, like thinking about what a Fallout game in VR can be. I know they modded, or not, yeah, Bethesda actually did a Fallout 4 in VR, but it's, it's retrofitted, right? It wasn't.
Yeah. It wasn't from the ground up. It was just more like, and it's same with the Skyrim VR. It was just kind of like something that they added in there, Yeah.
So
which for me, I think that was a cheap money grab. When I look at that, it's like they re-released the entire game in VR when it should have just been like a DLC mode or something. Because I look at No Man's Sky. When No Man's Sky VR came out, it was just like, oh, you own the game, you now have the VR mode. You didn't have to pay for it. It was just there. They just added it, which makes sense to me. Like if it's literally the same game. I don't know. Don't resell it like at a full price because it's VR. That's stupid.
Yeah, I think it should have been lower price instead of full price. But I mean,
the prices have gone down now since. But
yeah,
I heard Doom. Doom virtual reality was amazing.
Yeah, I haven't tried that one yet. I mean, I'm gonna, like I said, I got my Oculus Quest coming in. I got the Rift here. Like as soon as I finish Half-Life Alyx, I'm gonna start playing a bunch of. Well, I need to finish Last of Us Part 1 to get ready for Part 2.
You know what? Real quick, while we're on that topic, I didn't tell you this, but I'm sure you've heard about this. PlayStation announces the Last of Us Part 2 video series, and the first episode is available now.
Oh, really? Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I don't know where.
Is it supposed to be like a prequel to Last of Us Part 2 or something like that? Or is it a behind the scenes type of thing?
They announced this new series on literally May 13th, a couple days ago. A new episode will be released every Wednesday for the next 3 weeks. The series will cover different aspects of the game, including its story, gameplay, and more.
Cool.
So I think, it's just like, if anything, it kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy 15. They released an anime right before the game. Like each week they released an episode of an anime just to keep the hype train going, pretty much, Yeah. So I see this as like a way to keep the hype train going. It's not going to be the series that we're getting. It's more like, it looks like it's going to be a CGI movie kind of thing. Yeah, it looks interesting though. I thought it was worth bringing up real quick.
Cool. All right.
It dives into the core themes of being explored in the story, including a look at Ellie and Joel's life in Jackson County, Wyoming.
See, I got to finish Part 1 first
before you can watch it. Yeah.
Watch the series, yeah.
It looks like it's a tie-in kind of thing, like what happened in between or whatever. Yeah, it's always a good way to keep people hyped.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of smaller news. Let's run through to wrap this up. Cyberpunk 2077. They released a car that's Mad Max. It's like the 5th anniversary of Mad Max Fury Road, which is one of the best, to me, one of the best action movies ever made. They had
amazing
a car that's inspired. Yeah. A car that's inspired by Mad Max. Looks cool.
1,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
You will ride eternal, shiny, and chrome.
Yeah. Looks awesome.
Dude, I can see it now, dude. People are gonna be playing this. Like the amount of streamers who are just gonna be yelling, "Witness me! Witness me! I live, I die, I live again!" Oh my god.
Yeah.
The people are gonna be spray painting their teeth in their mouths.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
Not healthy. Not healthy. This one kind of hit me.
It looks sick.
We have Respawn co-founder Vince Zampella says that currently there are no Titanfall games in development. Then suggesting Titanfall. They were teasing kind of a Titanfall game last year. Titanfall 3. With the success of Apex Legends, which is based on the Titanfall universe, but obviously way more successful. They just aren't working. They aren't focusing. And you have the success of Fallen Order as well, so they probably shifted priorities to there. So they probably have Apex Legends, and then they have Fallen Order 2 that they're working on. So it sounds like Titanfall, which Titanfall 2 is actually one of my favorite FPSs of all time, and I only recently played it. I think it was the last year. Fantastic game.
I played it more recently than you. I think I started playing it about a month ago because of the lockdown. Well, because of you, because you always told me to play it. I'm probably about halfway through it. It's fun though. It's so much fun. It works really well.
If you play Apex Legends, you know the controls already.
And you know the guns, which was great. I didn't have to worry about what guns to pick up. I was like, oh, I know this gun. This is great. Yeah, let's see. There's a Ubisoft says they got another AAA a mystery game to be released in 2020, 2021. Yeah. So probably like the end of the year. I can't even speculate as to what this could be. Like, because it's not one of their existing IPs. It's got to be something new, because otherwise we would know about it.
It's not gonna be Splinter Cell.
It's not. Yeah, it's not Assassin's Creed related. It's not Watch Dogs related. No clue what it's going to be, but yeah, it's a AAA game. It's going to be coming out 2020 or 2021, so probably end of this year, beginning of next year. I guess around the time of the next console launch, or of the next generation of consoles. It seems like they're going to want to get this out for the next gen, whatever this game is. A yet to be announced franchise, so it's probably a new IP.
Ubisoft, for a limited time, you can actually download for free their educational discovery tours for Assassin's Creed. So you can actually download Ancient Egypt and Ancient Greece, and it's like this guided tour using kind of the Assassin's Creed engine and graphics.
It's actually in the game. Like it's not something that they released recently. It was actually already built into the game. They just decided to make it free. Like, that was the first thing I actually did when I installed Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Was I saw that there was a digital tour like on the main menu, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I did that, and it's beautiful, because it's a beautiful map. So I highly recommend it. It's probably a huge download though, because if it's showing you the whole map, or it's got to at least be like 50 or 60 gigs.
Yeah, it's from May 15th to May 21st. So it just started. So if you have to sign up for the Ubisoft account to get it. But yeah, if you're interested in it, go check it out. It looks cool.
And you know what? Along with the lines of that, within the same time limit, I think it's similar, except I think it's till the 26th. But right now on the Epic Games Store, you can go ahead and pick yourself up GTA 5 for free for the next 5 days. Yeah,
they crashed it's like the same store.
Yeah,
they crashed the store.
That's crazy.
I actually got it, but it took a while. So like when I first loaded up the Epic Game Store, I just couldn't even log on because there were so many people going on. So which was crazy because it kind of prevented. Well, I guess if you had shortcuts on but if you try to like load a game from the actual launcher, you couldn't do it because you couldn't even get in there. Anyways, it's free. On the PC using the Epic Games Store.
I mean, what blows my mind about this... Oh, also right now, if you are going to pick it up, it's right now for the next couple... I think till Monday, it's going to be double money and double experience on the online mode, which is great. And like a lot of the things are on sale right now, so it's a great time to get into the online mode. Dude, how crazy is GTA 5? To think about that for a second. It is the most... I don't know if you know this, but in terms of like a piece of entertainment, GTA 5 has made more money than any other piece of entertainment in the entire like world. Did you know that? More than any movie, more than any.
Is that including the game?
Including micro sales. Yeah.
Including micro. Yeah, because what I was going to say is like, remember, Red Dead Redemption 2 is the biggest opening sales for any piece of entertainment.
No, I'm talking for the past, the game's been out 7 years? No, 2013, 2014. Yeah, it's been out for so since then, I know it's made more than like 100 billion, which is that I think like it crossed 100 billion a long time ago. It was, correct me if I'm wrong there, but it blows my mind that one piece, like that one video game literally made more money than any other piece of entertainment in the entire world. That's crazy. Like that. I mean, once again, though, it makes sense if you consider the microtransactions, the gambling, and all those other things that they had involved. I haven't spent any money on the game besides actually buying it. But man, dude, that's crazy to think so. Which is why they're still doing so much for GTA Online, is because it's still making them so much money every single year.
Why not give it away for free? Remember when?
Exactly. Yeah.
When I think. Wasn't like Warcraft World of Warcraft? Wasn't that free? Is that free now? I remember there was a period of time
It's
where it was like free.
I think it still is. I mean, if you want to play WoW Classic, I don't think it's free. You got to pay your monthly fee to play WoW Classic, but to play normal WoW, I don't know if this is still the case, but for years, and I mean years, like literally years, it used to be free up until level 60, I think, or no, free up until level 30 or something like that. It was like that. That's how they kind of worked it out for years, just to get people to get back into it again. Which right now with quarantine going on, a lot of people are playing. WoW Classic. I was even thinking of getting into WoW Classic myself.
Yeah. Right now, so Phantasy Star Online 2 is now available in North America. You can get on the Xbox One. It's a free to play, so it's one of those games that is sustained by microtransactions. I love the first one. I played it on my Dreamcast, which is interesting enough because Mark Fernandez, the CEO of Collider and co-owner, he got me into Star Wars Galaxies recently, and if you follow our channel, you'll see we've been posting live streams of us playing Star Wars Galaxies, and playing it reminded me of my Phantasy Star Online days, which was where you could team up with other people, you can chat with them, you can exchange items, you go on missions together. Now, Star Wars Galaxies is a much bigger world than Phantasy Star Online, because I remember Phantasy Star Online was really just 5 levels, and each level had like 4 or 5 levels itself. So it was really like 25 like mini levels, and it was very linear,
How would you say the real quick? How would you say the story for Phantasy Star Online is? Because I've been meaning to watch the anime.
There's no story. There's no story.
There's like 2 animes out about it as well.
I don't know about the
anime.
There's no story. The game itself. There's no story.
Like, I wonder
I'm sure there's like
there's
like a very limited story, for the game. But I just remember it was all about looting and grinding, and getting better armor, getting better guns. You know what I mean? That's a lot of these MMOs are it's about grinding.
I like grinding a lot of the time. Like genuinely, I love loot grinding. That's why I still play Diablo 3 today. So I just love loot grinding. Sony says, this is another one here, PS5. Sony says the hardware is on track with no major issues with software, which leads me to raise an eyebrow, because it's like, why would you go out and say that?
And also, why would you say software? No major issues with software.
No major issues with software. Like, why? Like, especially when the only thing that's come out was the overheating issues, which has got to be a hardware issue. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. It's a very weird thing for them to say. But yeah, I think the hardware being,
if the rumors are true, maybe they just was overly ambitious in terms of what they want.
Possibly, yeah.
And especially with we talked about the case design, maybe they wanted to keep it slim, and especially with Japanese culture. I don't know if you remember the first Xbox. I mean, Xbox in general doesn't sell well in Japan. It's gotten much further along than before. But the original Xbox was so huge, nobody bought it.
I remember. It was like a VCR on top of a VCR almost.
So the newest Xbox, the Xbox Series X that's coming out, is actually like a mini PC tower.
It is modular, right?
I don't know. That's my speculation that it is.
Someone was saying that it's going to be upgradable. From what I was reading, it's going to be upgradable. So it pissed off some people. Yeah, it pissed off some people. But mind you, if it's going to be upgradable, it's probably going to be like Microsoft-owned parts. You know what I mean? Like, you want to get a new SSD. You gotta get the Microsoft. You gotta get the Xbox brand. So that's probably how they're going to do that. I mean, either way, it's still better than having to buy an entire new console. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, we're on the Sony. Sony denies its October PS5 release date, which I don't even know why this is news trending. Like, who in their right mind would think that the PS5 is going to come out in October this year, given the year we're having? Okay. Even before this whole lockdown situation, I don't want to say the word because people get demonetized, but because of the whole thing going on, even before that, there was no way they were going to release it in October. Like. Maybe November, end of November, early December, but an October release date never made sense to me, even before, like pre-COVID-19.
Yeah. All right, I think that's it for me. I mean, what have you been playing lately?
hold another couple small bits to bring in. Marvel Iron Man VR is coming out on July 3rd for PlayStation 4 PSVR on July 3rd.
They delayed that before. It's ready to go. They just didn't want to release it, when people couldn't go out. Which is weird.
The VR systems, yeah.
Which is weird because everyone's at home playing more games. And I'm telling you, Netflix, Amazon, and video games just during this quarantine they've been going up instead of down.
About 2 months away, so that's good. And let's see. Oh yeah, you've played Predator Hunting Grounds, right?
No, I have the code, and I just with all the other games I've been playing, haven't. Is it?
It's fun. It's fun, yeah. I mean, it's as fun as those type of games as you're gonna get. I think of there have been other games like it, can't think off the top of my head now, but like Friday the 13th, those kinds of stuff. It's fun, but I just saw they're coming out with a DLC where you get to play as the good old the Governator, the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Nice. So he's coming to Predator Hunting Grounds. That's quite cool. This is something. Wait, actually, one more small thing before I talk about this last big thing. Diablo 2 remaster apparently coming out this year. It's been rumored for a while. There's still no clear things of whether it's going to be coming out or not. It would definitely save. I mean, after watching Blizzard and that horrible thing that they called Warcraft 3 Reforged, a Diablo 2 remaster. If they screw this one up as well, I do not see this company do. I mean, this company is already doing horrible. Blizzard is Acti Blizzard, whatever the hell you want to call that company. They're just running it into the ground, man. I feel if only Activision wasn't involved. But anyways. So if that is true, the Diablo 2 remaster is coming out this year, and then this you might find interesting. PlayStation is when the PS5 comes out, they're also launching an umbrella brand, PlayStation Studios, which is going to be kind of like it's going to unite all of its first party titles. So basically, all the studios that they acquired and all the studios are doing exclusives for Sony, they're going to be kind of under this umbrella brand, which is just going to be called PlayStation Studios. I wonder why they did the move to do that. I'm not too sure, because that doesn't really change anything in my eyes, you know what I mean, except for them being able to put another name on top of a different developer, the studios that were revealed includes characters from Last of Us, God of War, Uncharted, Ratchet & Clank, Horizon, Little Big Planet, Horizon Zero Dawn, sorry. But yeah, pretty much all the exclusives. So they're just going to be under an umbrella company now, which doesn't really add anything to our lives. I'm not too sure what's going to happen with that, so that's going to be interesting. But that's pretty much the last bit of news I have.
Cool. What have you been playing recently?
Still playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey because that game is huge, dude.
Oh yeah.
I especially because I've got all the DLC. I actually got tired of the game because I was like, I just can't right now. It's just there's so much going on. I love it though because I'm playing it for the story. It got to a point where I was actually sick of I was sick of the gameplay. Gameplay mechanics, and I was only playing it because I was like, I want to know more about ancient Greece, even though it's not real. But I was like, give me more of the story, so I keep playing it, playing. So that Minecraft, because like I said last video, Minecraft has been really good for my anxiety. It's been keeping me calm. It's actually been really good for my anxiety, which is interesting. So I've just been playing a lot of Minecraft, but the game I've been playing the most is Warzone. Dude, Call of Duty Warzone is sick. It is sick. I'm getting my new gaming PC rig next week, so I'm gonna be able to go back to streaming. I know I always tell you guys to follow me on Twitch and things like that, but I haven't been able to stream in months because I don't have a rig to stream. I mean, I can stream on my PlayStation, but I can't run OBS and things like that. So I'm gonna be streaming quite a bit of Warzone in the future. Maybe I'll even hop on your guys' the Collider Twitch and stream for you guys a couple days.
Sure.
I'm literally doing nothing all day every day, so I may as well be streaming for on the Collider Twitch channel as well. But dude, Warzone, it's been good. It's been fun. A lot of there's also, this is a bit kind of old news, but we didn't cover it. A lot of pro gamers are saying that if you want to be a pro gamer, you should stay clear of Call of Duty and Call of Duty Warzone because there's a lot of things you can do to your guns that pretty much takes away recoil. And if you play a game for hours and hours without recoil and you go back to another game that does have recoil, obviously your skills are going to be very different. So a lot of pro gamers have been saying you can play, if you find the game fun, play it. But if you want to be a pro FPS player, don't play it. Don't get used to the game, because it's not healthy for other games like Fortnite and CS:GO, etc., etc.
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting for once they start doing VR, either battle royale or team deathmatch games.
There was a VR battle royale, and it was really popular the week it came out, and then it just fell off the face of the earth. I don't even know what it's called. I saw some gameplay of it though, but this was like a year ago, 2 years ago when VR. I wouldn't say VR was in its infancy, but it wasn't what it is today.
Yeah. No. Take Life Alyx's engine, turn that into an online either team deathmatch, or battle royale, and
dude, how crazy would esports be? Like VR esports.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be next level, Dennis. That's actually going to be so cool. People are going to have their own studios set up in their basements, so that like courses where they can run around and take cover. And oh my god, dude, esports VR is going to be sick.
Yeah.
Other than that, so I've just been playing those games. And like I said, hopefully, well, I'll let anybody watching this who's interested in watching me stream video games. I'll let you guys know in the next video the times and stuff like that. I might create a new Twitch account. I'll see. But yeah, looking forward to getting my my PC so I can also do work, get back to voice acting, back to editing. They opened up the film industry out here, or at least the film permit offices. So I think I'll be able to go back to work, which is nice.
Definitely not happening here.
Yeah, no, I see that. It's definitely. I'm pretty shocked that I'm really shocked actually that the film permit offices opened up again, considering tobacco and alcohol is still illegal to be sold. You can't have gatherings of more than I think 10. Now more than 10 people. So how are you going to film anything?
People in America are rioting over not being able to get a haircut and not being able to go Applebee's.
Dude, we had someone die the other day because they drank because of the pineapple beer that they made. Like we've got people home brewing their own liquor because they have to, and they're dying from it out here because that's how desperate they are to be drunk.
Definitely did not eliminate alcohol or tobacco here. People would go
even
nuts. People are going nuts over minor things, something like that. That would be like the end of it.
Do you guys have a curfew? We have a curfew.
No curfew, but there's not really anything to do now because there's no bars open, there's no restaurants. I mean, restaurants you can take out, but that's it. But yeah, there's no curfew, but we have kind of like a indefinite lockdown here in LA for the time being. They're saying probably July. July is probably around when they'll lift it. But I think the thing that people are misconstruing is it's not a full lockdown like before. They started to open up small businesses. Yeah. Just not big ones. You can't go to you can't dine in restaurants. You can't go to a bar. You can't go to see a movie or whatever.
We finally allowed, because we even deliveries was illegal. We only just, I think 2 days ago, allowed things like pizzas and stuff like that to be delivered. So now restaurants can at least deliver. They can't even restaurants can't be open at all, but they can now deliver, which is good. As the other things that have changed is I can now actually order my computer, like I was talking about, because before the time you can only order essentials and what the government says is essential. The lockdown's been a lot stricter here. We're going out stages by stages. Like right now we're on level 5 being full lockdown. We're now on level 4. We were supposed to go to level 3 today, but we're staying on level 4 for a while. Our government has plans to still be on level 1 or 2 early next year. I think we're going to be on lockdown until September. We're going to be on lockdown until September because look, you guys are going into summer now, which is good for you. The virus doesn't go away completely, but your transmissions are going to go down. We're going into winter, so we're going to see our rate of people getting it is going to go way up higher because of it's also flu season. And our country is also just not testing. I have a lot of people who are saying, we're not worried. There's only 2,000. We only have 2,000 cases in the entire country. I was like, dude, we are testing 3,000 people a week. That is, we have millions of people in this country. We're testing 3,000 people a week. Of course, we're barely going to find any. It's stupid.
Yes. But yeah.
It's not gaming related.
No. but in general, going out and they're gonna do things in stages, and I think even when, let's say, I go back
Well, they
to work,
can't just open up the floodgates. It's
no, and
impossible.
even
You
like
can't
when
you
you,
can't
let's say,
just end lockdown.
you can open up offices, right? But then you'll
Yeah.
still probably have to wear masks and do social distancing, even when you work, So
I kind of hope that for me, it would make sense if they did it by region, because where I live right now, I'll be moving once I'm legally able to, because we're locked down in regions as well. Like I can't leave my region without special permit or anything like that. There was actually 1 week where they allowed travel for 1 week so that people can move to the place where they work. Like if you worked out of town, you can now at least move to where you work to be able to still work and things like that. But I haven't been able to. I literally live in like the middle of nowhere, dude. It's beautiful out here, but I'm in a population of like less than 1,000 people in this little village that I'm in. So it's like I feel like when you're in like a little village or something with such a small population, you should be able to have a different type of lockdown. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like if everyone if everyone where I am right now decided to go walking, they still wouldn't bump into each other. Like that's how little people there are here.
yeah. Well, LA is super packed, so
Yeah, there's no
uh,
way. If you're high, that's too high density.
yeah. So yeah, like I said before, I've been playing Half-Life Alyx. I'm gonna finish that hopefully soon. I was playing Fallout 76. I'm like that, that meme with the boyfriend and the girlfriend looking at the other girl or whatever. So Fallout 76 is like
Oh,
girlfriend in the back, and I'm looking at Half-Life Alyx. But as soon as that's done,
okay.
I don't know if I'll jump back to Fallout. I mean, I still playing Fallout 76 just because
Should
VR
download
is.
Warzone. Download Warzone on the
No,
PS4.
no,
It's
I'm
only
not doing
100
that.
gigs.
It doesn't matter. Because I gotta finish Last of Us Part 1. I mean, that's my
Of course,
right
yeah.
now. Fallout 76 and Last of Us Part 1 are going to be my priorities outside of Half-Life Alyx, which I'm going to finish very soon. So yeah, and then that's it. So I hope everyone who's been watching and listening, everyone's safe. Let us know what games you've been playing. Let me know, what you think of all the different topics that we talked about: the Unreal Engine 5 demo, Ghost of Tsushima gameplay and presentation, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake/remaster. Have you played Half-Life Alyx yet? What do you think about it? All the cool, fun stuff. Josh, where can people find you?
I was going to say also, if you guys get the chance to comment down below, let me know, seeing as I'm starting up a new streaming channel.
Mhm.
Let me know what you guys want to see me streaming. If I'm going to be streaming on the Collider channel, let me know what you guys would like to see on there. Yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram at josh.toki. Usually after this, I say my Twitch name, but I think I'm going to create a new Twitch account. So just go to my Instagram for now, josh.toki. Yeah, and I'll be able to keep you guys posted. And obviously, you guys can see me here on the Collider Gaming channel.
Cool. And you guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero or Instagram, Dennis.tzng. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Collider Games. Also, subscribe to our podcast feed. That's Collider Factory Podcast, Facebook. We're here every single week. And until next time, see you guys later.